Alright, here we go. Welcome, welcome. I'm back to Umineko When They Cry. How we doing, folks? Happy Sunday. Work tomorrow, probably. Probably for most. Work tomorrow. Have a little tea party. So basically, I'm just going to do the episode 3 tea party and the episode 3... Oh, you have to watch the episode 3 tea party first. The episode 3 tea party and the episode 3 question mark. And then I'm probably just going to play some variety game for like an hour or something. But I'm not going to go into episode 4 tonight. That will be saved for another time. Also, starting after this stream, it will not be only Umineko every stream. I'm going to start doing some variety again. I'm going to start doing some fighting games again. I have still some travel for Grand Archive to do, but probably do about 1 or 2 Umineko streams a week rather than the 4 that I've been doing, and then have like 1 variety stream and 1 Grand Blue stream or something like that. So just as a heads up, for those of you who are here for just Umineko, it's not going away. You will see me on it. Just not as every stream. I cast Power Word Defecate. That doesn't rhyme. Okay, so we're gonna do the tea party. Also, just as a heads up, I'm vaguely interested in the end result of the Grand Archive tournament that I played in today, so I might be glancing over at that every now and again. But you know what? Honestly, let me not try to do too many things at once. Let's go ahead and go to this tea party. And see what the deal is with the end of episode 3. The end of episode 3 was quite good. So essentially, Beatrice defeated Ava Beatrice in the game for us as our ally, and then we ended up in the Golden Land, and everyone was there and everyone was happy. And much like the episode 1 tea party, the only thing that needed to happen to have everybody live happily ever after was to have Battler agree that witches exist and that to acknowledge Beatrice as a witch. Toward the end, an older red-haired woman showed up, presumably Ushumiya Anji, which I thought about this, and I'll talk about it in a second. Presumably Ushumiya Anji showed up and stopped Battler from signing that contract because, as it turns out, it was all an entirely large ruse from Beatrice, who was just trying to get Battler to sign that, and the whole game leading up to that point was a ruse. Welding, thank you for the follow. Hi. That said, Anji is about as old as Battler, so we were all talking, oh, maybe it was the miscarried child of Kiri, because we know Kiri did have Anji, but Anji is 6 years younger than Battler. Anji is more like Maria's age, not Battler's age. So we're like, oh, maybe it was the miscarried child of Anji, of Kiri, not Anji herself. But you will remember that Kiri said she was also expected to have a boy when she miscarried, right? So it wasn't that she was supposed to just have a child. I think she specifically said she knew she was going to have a boy and had a miscarriage. But I don't think the Anji we saw was the miscarried child of Kiri. I think it was more likely that this is either Anji from like the future, or it's some completely different person that might not be Anji even, right? So a lot of possibilities there. But I think we should just go to the tea party and see what happens. I think I'm going to play Ember Ward after this. There she is, I kneel. I never expected Lady Baron Castell's Do you think iced tea should become iced VT? I think that would be pretty pog. Oh, hell nah, Beatrice. I never expected Lady Birkenstell's piece to barge in at the very end. I searched all over the place for a piece fitting for a game with you. I was sure you'd like it. What's with that piece? Who was that person? Who was it? She didn't say her name. That's mean. Hey, don't you think so too? I have a general idea. Or rather, I imagine most people would have figured it out. Most people? Oh, I don't get it. And it was the character's first appearance, wasn't it? If she doesn't say her name, I won't understand. The players won't understand. No one will understand, right? Beto. Don't bother telling her. See? Isn't she a funny kid? Indeed. Lady Lambda Delta's innocent airhead side is truly precious and amusing. Come on. Why won't you tell me, you meanie? In exchange, I'll teach you a special secret that only I know. So, tell me. Oh. A special secret, you say? I want to hear. I want to hear. Bleh. If you want me to tell you, first tell me who that girl really was. The secret I know sure is awesome. After all, it's about as awesome as knowing that Santa is actually... Huh? I don't know if I want to say that. It's about as awesome as knowing that Santa-san is actually Daddy. Huh? I said it. Sorry. I'll bet you're so shocked that it turns your world upside down, right? What is she, Santa's kid? Oh, yeah. Hot Santa? So your father was the one who So the father was the one who came to your place, Lambda. Huh? What do you mean? What are we talking about? Lord Santa Claus only visits the homes of children with pure hearts. I guess he didn't come to your place, did he? Well, Lord Santa Claus is gracious. Unless you're a really bad scoundrel, he'll give you a present. After all, heaven gave them to me. He even gave them to me. As you grow and your heart is hardened, he stops coming, doesn't he? How old were you, Beto, when he stopped coming? Indeed. He kept coming until I was about 12. When my maiden's heart awoke, I quickly got somewhat embarrassed about Lord Santa coming. After I wrote, "Thanks for everything, that's enough. So make sure you splurge the last set of presents." He stopped coming. Wait, please. I'm dying. Oh, and I was looking forward to it too. How old were you when he stopped coming, Lady Berncastel? I was pretty wild. It happened fairly early. I think I was about 9. So, I waited on my futon with some sewing scissors ready, trying to cut it off. What a painful age. Oh wait, something about that beard really irritated me. So I waited in my futon with some sewing scissors trying to cut it off. What a painful age. So, as far back as Lady Lambda Delta can remember, Lord Santa Claus never came to see her, huh? He usually comes until the very last year of elementary school, or during middle school. Maybe we should take her to a doctor. I hear that being too precious can have some negative side effects on the growth of mind and body. Yeah, you can definitely see some of those negative side effects. Wait, hold on. This is the tea party. Isn't the tea party meant for the humans? And question mark is for the witches? What are you people talking about? It truly is boisterous when 3 witches gather. Me watching Hocus Pocus every Halloween for the 5th time. The question mark goes hard? Alright, sick. If we're talking about a secret on that level, I doubt this will be worth listening to. Can I go now? I have to get ready for the next game. Hey, wait a sec. Tell me who that woman was. Well then, tell me this special secret of yours first. If it's good enough, then I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you, because it's a really special secret. Remember, in this game, there was a girl who found the gold and became the new witch, right? Yeah. And just what kind of secret might that person have? I figured out who that girl really is. Does anyone know? Oh, so there... Oh, well, yeah, I guess obviously it couldn't be Ava. There was a hint in the way she talked. Remember, that girl said it a lot, didn't she? If only you just... Right? Yes, that phrase is the key point. If only... If only... If only... Evenly matched? Battle phase? Draw? Standby? Main? Battle phase? Evenly? She was actually Ushiromiya Ava. What do you think? Are you shocked? Pain. Oh, I never noticed that. To think that there would be a hint in a place like that. I have been Yu-Gi-Oh! Brain rotted for sure. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! You're a real good sport, Beto. This kid tends to get full of herself, so try not to overdo it. See ya. I'm leaving. Wait. It's not fair if you only listen to my secret and don't tell me yours. Tell me who she really was. Your secret was so amazing that mine just wouldn't match up. So in exchange, I'll teach you a special secret. I'll tell you the name of the culprit in this game called Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. What? Don't say it. I'm still playing it. Omega lol. Bye, Beto. The black tea was delicious. However, the repertoire of jam on the crackers was lacking. And some gochujang chili oil? I want to sleep with my Laogama plushie. As you wish. Add some gochujang chili paste every once in a while. It goes great with Russian tea. Wait, is she saying put the chili oil in the tea? At everyone? I've done that. I put chili oil in tea last weekend, actually. Oh, I see. I shall try it. I'll call for some after preparing the next game. Until then, feel free to polish up on your strategy at your leisure. Yes, I'll do that. This last game was pretty interesting. Later. Hey, wait, tell me. Some Russian tea dipped in Mama Lizzo's chili oil. My, you two really are close. Yes, that's right. Oh, I really like you, Bern Castell. You could even say I love you. I want to gouge out your eyes so that you see no one other than me. Eren Yeager energy. Oh, that would be so wonderful. It would be great to dunk them in black tea. Huh? To think that you would be so entranced, Lady Lambda Delta. I have a serious responsibility. Still, this last game was really close. Say something aloud. Emomansa. Still, this last game really was close. I was a breath away from getting Battler. Beto, can I ask you something? What is it? I won't tell you that girl's name. When are you gonna stop fooling around? Are you even trying to win? Lambda Delta... Oh my god, this track hit my whole core. Sounds like the GoldenEye 64 theme. Dun, 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 dun. Lady Lambda Delta threatened her with a low voice that she had never used in front of Bern Castell. It completely blew away the calm atmosphere that had been there until moments ago. You know, I'm supporting you because you're supposed to be a witch who can win against Bern Castell. If you don't have the power to win against her, then I'll abandon you right away, okay? How harsh of you. What about me dissatisfies you? As you know, my game board is perfect. Lady Bern Castell will never be able to win. Yes, that's right. Your board truly is impressive. It truly is an impressive and perfect game board that Bernkastel definitely won't be able to win in, not even after 100 years. Or even 1,000 years. That's why I made you a witch in exchange for letting me borrow it. Oh, huh? If I stop being your guardian, you'll immediately go back to being a human. Make sure you don't forget that. No matter how much incredible magic you hold, you are nothing more than a temporary witch. Interesting. I understand. I'm grateful to you. Don't speak so casually to me. I'll forgive that when Bernkastel's around, but not when she isn't. I'll bet you've started to forget how much you owe me. That's not so. You really are disgusting. Go ahead and talk the way you usually do. But be mindful of what you say. I have a surprisingly short temper, you see. Indeed. Let's get back to what we were discussing. Your game board truly is perfect. You should be able to defeat Bernkastel without any trouble. But that kid won't surrender easily. She'll challenge you over and over. Well, that's no problem. It's been certified by you, Lady Lambda Delta. My game board is perfect. Yeah, that's right. It's perfect. But are you, the player, perfect as well? What do you mean? What do I mean? That's what I want to hear. You play around a lot in your game. Sometimes that ends up confusing Bernkastel. So at first I thought it was some special strategy of yours. But I get the feeling that's not quite true. Rather than toying with the opponent in a match you can win, you don't actually care whether you win or lose, right? Ridiculous. How could that be? You know what? Your role is to make Bernkastel surrender. In other words, that means being the victor in this game for all eternity. As long as you keep trying to become the victor with certainty, then I'll give you my power as the Witch of Certainty. However, if you fight in a way that doesn't eliminate any possibility of your loss, that's a different story. Of course, this is a game. Just as Lady Bernkastel will lose when I win, I will sometimes lose when she wins. The possibility of loss always exists. Therefore, I will... This is why you're useless. There's no need for you to be a game board. You just have to be a birdcage that can lock Bernkastel up for all eternity. What's the role of a birdcage? Making certain the little bird inside never escapes. What's a birdcage worth if it has cracks that sometimes let a bird out? Of course, games exist for the purpose of winning, and it's impossible for me to lose. Therefore, I will continue to win, as you wish, for all eternity. Good answer. That'll be fine. I'll allow you to play around and use fakes as part of your tactics. It ended up being useful during parts of this round. But, you know what? If you make a move hoping for anything else other than victory, make sure you're prepared for something amazing, okay? I will do no such thing. I swear it. Because originally you weren't even a witch, and at any time, I'd remind you what a truly shabby creature you were. If you betray my expectations, that is. As soon as you do, you can look forward to a fun punishment game. In the world of billions of fragments, I'll send you into the most miserable one and seal you there. You were already miserable to start with, so there's gonna be some really miserable fragments out there for the picking. Oh, I love you, Bernkastel. Struggle in Beatrice's birdcage as much as you like. And over the course of 1,000 years, realize that you can no longer escape. And when you surrender, I'll train you so that you can't do anything other than cry in the palm of my hand. What? So, Lambda Delta had a lot to say there, and we also learned, so, Lambda Delta has some kind of authority over Beatrice, implying that she gave Beatrice her power, is also very powerful herself, and really this almost feels like now a competition between Lambda Delta and Bernkastel that's one layer above the competition between Battler and Beatrice. Alright, question mark time. Welcome to the tea party for those who are not human. Weird. 12 years later? October 4th, 1998. Whoa, hold on. 12 years. This is 12 years after Rokkenjima. A monotonous electric sound kept on repeating. The room was colored with hygienic tones, in other words, an emotionless white. It was a room at a certain university hospital. Neither her doctor nor the person herself had any doubts that this room, which had a price so high that no commoner could afford to spend a single night there, would be the last room she ever saw. Was this person on the bed Ava? Even if someone told you that it was so, he was unbelievably aged and worn out. The well-built man in a suit, waiting in the corner near the door, was having a whispered conversation through an intercom with someone outside. He was a guard protecting Ava's person. After telling the person on the other end of the intercom to wait, he approached Ava's bed. Ava had been awake for a short while. However, she stared at a single point in empty space, as though her mind was not in the same place. That's Rudolph. Angie has arrived in the lobby below. Should we let her pass? For a long time, Ava didn't answer. That can't be Rudolph, though, right? However, bit by bit, her eyes began to regain their focus, and she gave a small nod, indicating that she didn't mind if they called Angie. It had been Ava who called her. She was right on time. By this point, Ava... Yeah, she should be the only one alive if this is 12 years after Episode 3's events. But that sounded like Rudolph. By this point, Ava would refuse anyone who wanted a meeting without an appointment. The room was dark, even though it was still light outside, because the curtains were always closed. To be fair, I don't think this was voiced in the original version, so like they might have just used the same VA to be like bodyguard guy. Or it could have just been a different guy. There was always one guard waiting in the room, and 3 more waiting in the corridor in the lobby. They were all there to protect Ava's person. Eventually, there was the sound of a knock, and there was a message from the intercom that the guest's body check had been completed with no problems. The door was unlocked, then opened, then a high school-aged girl was standing there. So, Ava, I guess, became head of the Ushiromiya company, used all the gold, did all that. So, you know, very possible, right? Chairman, Angie has arrived. Yeah, so she would be chairman of the Ushiromiya company. Ava reacted and turned her face toward the guest. However, instead of reacting to the guard's call, maybe it would be better to say that she reacted to the smell of Angie's makeup. After being shut up in this room for so long, Ava was sensitive to even small changes in smell. So you came. Angie? Is Angie. I came. You did call me. On Ava's face, there was no trace of a person warmly welcoming their niece, and on Angie's face, you could see the expression of one pleased to meet with their aunt. Ava waved her arm, which had grown as thin as a withered branch, and motioned for the guard to leave. The guard bowed silently and went out into the hall. It's not only stuffy, but dark, too. Can I open the curtains? Is your plan for that hitman you hired to shoot me through the window? I wish I could get hired to assassinate you. All I'd have to do is relax at home for a month and the job would take care of itself. Aw. Their discussion was quite morbid for an aunt and a niece. However, they didn't look like they were joking. At the very least, Ava believed that someone was after her life. All of the Ushiromiya family's massive fortune had come into the possession of Ava. It was said that this fortune also included the 10 tons of hidden gold that Kinzo was rumored to have hidden. While this vast wealth lay in Ava's cunning, sly, and suspicious hands, no one was able to complain. So that Angie is one from 12 years in the future. Allegedly, yeah. If they're using the same sprite for her, so that I would think that would mean that this Angie is from 12 years in the future. By now, Eva and Anji were Kinzo's only descendants. If Eva died, all of the wealth would go to Anji. And if Anji were then to be killed as well, that wealth would go to the family of Anji's mother, Kiri. But in this sense, not only Eva, but Anji as well, were in a position where it wouldn't be odd at all for their life to be targeted by some unknown person. And Eva had hated Anji for a long time. This was because she knew that, after losing her only precious son, George, the inheritor of her own wealth would be none other than a girl who had been absent at the family conference 12 years ago, and who had survived. Eva shunned Anji, disliked her, and even hated her. He isolated Anji in a special school and separated her from the youth and happiness normal people have, trying to keep her as a pet until death. However, Eva had succumbed to an incurable illness, and ironically, her remaining life was estimated to be the same as Kinzo's had been at the family conference 12 years ago. Both Eva and Anji hated each other. Even though they were each other's last blood relatives, they hated each other so much that they hoped the other would die quickly. And? Why did you go through all the trouble of calling for me? I don't have much time left. Those quack doctors still can't detect any of the poison that's filling me up. I know. I'm sure it's some secret assassination drug used by the Soviet KGB. Oh, I'm gonna be killed. I'm gonna be killed. Isn't that great? Very soon I will die, which will surely be quite a load off of your back. What a pitiable person. This always happened. They immediately deviated from the main topic, distorting it into a more unsettling discussion. Eva, who was absolutely paranoid, believed that someone was always after her life. And in actual fact, after inheriting the vast wealth of the Ushiromiya family, she had used wild methods just like Kinzo had done in the past, repeatedly making money by any means necessary and creating many enemies along the way. With a massive supply of capital, she had plotted to aggressively buy businesses that were starting to have rapid growth, making them buy it back at a high price under the guise of reconciliation. Anji stares at the screen and starts twirling her fingernail. Ironically, it was the same type of action that her husband's company had been hit with 12 years ago. She had repeated this constantly for 12 years. She also earned a lot of hatred. If her husband had heard this from beyond the grave, he might have defended her, saying that the loneliness from losing her family fueled her actions. However, of all the people who knew her now, none would defend her. For some time, Eva eloquently spoke of how her life was being targeted, listing off names of people who hated her, and sneering at the fact that she still hadn't been killed. Even though Anji heard her own name included in that list, there was no particular change in her expression, and she waited indifferently for Eva to tire herself out. You see, I really hate you. I'm honored. Same here. I built this future for George. To think that it would be snatched away by you. To think that it would be stolen away by Rudolph's daughter. I can't bear it. To think that I would have my fortune stolen away without even leaving behind a child. That I cannot forgive. If only you just give all of your fortune to charity. What about all those religious people you used to go so far out of your way to find? They all said the same thing. My excessive wealth has become a burden to me. And they now always say something about how I need to give it up and cleanse myself. Then I thought of something. I stopped donating. Good evening. Hi. For a time, Eva had searched for the founders of several strange and new religious cults, perhaps seeking peace in her heart. But they gave her heart no relief. What's happening? This is the question mark Tea Party. This is 12 years after the events of episode 3. If anything, they ended up increasing her paranoia further. If you have too much money, why don't you start buying up thoroughbreds and make some corned beef? I've thought of something even more interesting. I've worried over it a lot. What could I do to make things horrible for you? I thought about killing you. I also thought about erasing all of my wealth, leaving you penniless, and selling you off as a slave trader or something. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wow, Eva is awful. You'd have your arms and legs chopped off and be forced to take customers until you died. And that would be so wonderful. Oh, she's got the witch's laugh. Is this fun for you? Oh yes, it is. It's fun to scare you. But very soon, I will die. So I thought about how I might continue to cause you pain even after my death. And then... it was surprisingly simple. I called you because I wanted to talk about it. I have midterms coming up. Keep it brief. I have decided I will have you inherit all of my fortune. Oh? Not only that, but I decided that until the very day I die, I'll expand that fortune as much as I can, inflating it to massive proportions before having you inherit it all. Oh no, don't make infinite money and then hand it to me. Can you even imagine what that would be like? I don't get it. Because it's stupid. That's right, you don't get it, do you? Look forward to it. It really is fun, being rich. Every day, yokai from across Japan come to play. This plan is wicked and vile. Google Ava inflation to find out more about it. There's gonna be 2 X2s in top 16. Yeah, that sounds about right. I thought X2 was very, very winnable. I thought that would be the case with how many drops and stuff. I was X3, though. I think X3 was never going to make top 16, right? X3 might barely make top 32. Morning, Mango. This plan could be really wicked if you do all this, and then you, like... you could have made top 16. Is it X2s or X2Xs? Because X2 is implying 6 and 2. Because you had a draw. So you were already X2-1. You were already X2-1, though. So if you were 5-2-1, that's very different than 6-2. Oh, you were X1-2. I thought you were X2-1. Damn, that sucks. You would have been able to win out. Because what would that be? That would have been 4-1-2. No, 5-1-2. 5-1-2 is 17 points. 5-1-2 is 17 points. 6-2 is actually 18 points, though. So if you have to be a straight X2, I don't think X1-2 makes it. Because it's lower. Yeah. Which I guess feels better, man. Like, you know, it's not like a poor numerical decision. X3 probably couldn't have even... with that in mind, X3 almost certainly didn't make top 32. And obviously doesn't make top 16. Feels bad. I feel like I could have played so much better today, too. But it's all good. I learned a lot. Every day, yokai from across Japan come to play. From now on, your entire life will be followed by talk shows and weekly magazines. The media will criticize me no matter what I do or don't do. If I donate, they'll attack me for being bourgeoisie. Bourgeois. If I hesitate, I'll be abused as a miser. Oh, every day really is wonderful, you see. I decided to be great and let you have that kind of life. When you're so young and have so much ahead of you. Doesn't that sound absolutely wonderful? Bougie? That is actually pronounced bougie? Bouge. Looks like the public's opinion of all you've done was spot on. That's too true, yes. That is too true. Go ahead. Abuse me as much as you want. Soon, you will face the same criticism. This is future Anji. This is Burgoyes. This... me at Burger King? Give me all the Burgoyes. This is confirmed 12 years in the future. Jeff Bourgeoisie? Wait, that's fire. Hold on. Japanese culture dictates that good people live in honorable poverty while the wealthy should just die. No matter what you do or not do, you will eventually be lifted up as a symbol of envy and hate across Japan. I wonder how twisted your life will become after living that way. You have no allies. No one will listen to your worries. Abusing you will become a public sport, and no one can stop that. Yeah, the menu... Eat the rich. I hate the rich. Hashtag Umineko. Oh, Anji. I'm really looking forward to it. I wonder how you will live your life and how you'll end it. Enjoy to the fullest the life of being unable to trust anyone in this world, being unable to love anyone, unable to talk with anyone. I'll be patiently waiting for you to take that story of hardship down with you into hell. Popeye's biscuit. Her insane laughter turned into a painful cough. Without changing her expression in the slightest... that's Ava, a sickly elder. This is confirmed 12 years later, and this is Ava talking. Without changing her expression in the slightest, looking completely unconcerned, Angie stared at the only survivor of Rokkenjima. Perhaps because he found the violent coughing suspicious, the guard gave a short knock on the door and rushed in at the same time. Angie glanced at him, wordlessly making it clear that she didn't intend to move a step from where she was. Angie was prepared for some kind of trap to frame her in Ava's death. However, that was fortunately a needless fear. As the guard rubbed Ava's back, he poured hot water from a thermos into a mug. As he did, Ava kept coughing, apparently in pain. Angie figured out that this was probably the last she'd see of the Rokkenjima witch's final days. Eventually, the coughing subsided, and Ava regained her normal breathing. However, the glittering madness inside her eyes hadn't subsided in the slightest. Now, I will give to you that cursed mass of gold and the Ushiromiya family headship, as well as the name of the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Enjoy the insane, twisted rest of your life, fitting for the name of a witch. I don't need that. More importantly, tell me, on that day, what happened on Rokkenjima? I don't believe it was an accident. Tell me the truth about what happened that day, and why father and mother and Nissan died. Oh yes, that's the best way I have to harass you, isn't it? What happened on that day? What happened on this day in 1986? You want to know what they said before they died, right? I won't tell you. I'll leave behind the cursed gold, but you know what? I'll take the truth you seek with me to hell. That's the best way I can torment you. Oh, are you mad? If you want to hear it so much, try going to hell and asking your family there. In that case, you'd better die right now, right? If only you'd just give up and die right now. That laugh continued until she started coughing again. And that cough did not subside until she started moaning and going into convulsions. October 4th, 1986, on Rokkenjima, the Ushiromiya family's customary and final family conference was held. And on the next day, October 5th, an extremely unfortunate accident occurred, and the Ushiromiya family was wiped out. Fortunately, Ushiromiya Eva escaped from that and inherited almost all of the Ushiromiya family's fortune. However, due to many turbulent rumors surrounding the family, the way Eva acted afterwards, and her unnatural actions at the time of the unfortunate accident, the public was in an uproar over whether this might be a conspiracy to get all of the inheritance for herself. Under pressure from the public, prosecutors repeatedly tried to investigate the matter, and the media began tracing the outline and conspiracy they called the Rokkenjima suspicion. But in the end, they weren't even able to find proof that this unfortunate accident was a crime. However, because the media continued to give an impression that Rokkenjima's suspicion was a conspiracy of Ava's, public opinion began to believe that she was the true culprit. Of course, that was also influenced by the bad impression caused by all that easily condemnable, overbearing financial activity, which she had carried out using that vast wealth. Every time she did something and the rumors started spreading, the media would bring back the Rokkenjima suspicion, blaming the criminal justice system by saying that she was the true culprit and that the only reason she hadn't been arrested was because even the police had been bribed. The impression that she was a great villain grew stronger and stronger. Her heart eventually degenerated, and ironically, it began to transfigure her into the kind of human that the public expected. By now, Ava had no one she could trust, and no family. After her beloved husband passed away, the talk shows occasionally mentioned his company. To saying that it was run recklessly while criticizing and disgracing its former accomplishments. Even her beloved son, George, was dramatized as the stereotypical rich, lazy son that the public expected. And no one even wanted to know what a simple and honest character he had possessed. And to how much of all this hurt Ava and ran her to ruin, no one cared. The public was only interested out of curiosity about how a super rich, evil woman who killed her whole family lived her pitiful later years. So that happened more and more. Eventually, Ava's personality was transfigured until people started calling her a lunatic. It was said that this sometimes reminded her of her father, whom she had once admired in his later years, and that she started laughing at herself with scorn. And on the day of that final family conference, because Ushiromiya Rudolph's daughter, Angie, had been sick and had stayed with her mother's family, she had not participated. At the age of 6, she had lost her family and had gained Ava as her guardian. Since Angie had become Ava's only blood relative, Ava took very good care of her. She had imposed guards surrounding Angie's person at all times to prevent her from coming to harm. Angie had even her right to play with friends, to come home from school together, and to enjoy the seasons together stolen away, so that she can live a full and pleasant school's life. Ava had sent Angie to an elegant boarding school that took care of her every need, completely isolating her from the world. She didn't even know how popular songs that girls her age might hum. She was never given a chance to enjoy window shopping with her friends, or stuffing her mouth with crepes, much less an encounter with a member of the opposite sex to make her heart throb. Angie did not have a single friend. If anyone carelessly acted friendly with Angie, they would be scolded by the guards or the teachers. All of them were strictly ordered not to let shabby humans approach the daughter of the esteemed Ushiromiya family. During that time, the talk shows were always mentioning Ava, always spreading rumors about her countless financial misdeeds. Those who knew who her daughter was naturally began to keep their distance. Even now, she was called a witch at school, and anytime something bad happened, even if there was no proof, it would be whispered as though it were absolutely true, that she had imposed her will on the school staff. The environment makes the person. By now, she had a heart as wild as those around her feared. No one trusted her, so she never bothered to believe in anyone. No one loved her, so she never even tried to love. And when Ava caught an incurable illness on top of all this, it was whispered that this too was a conspiracy, and this time Angie was set up as the mastermind. Everyone whispered that the daughters of witches are witches too, and that even the talk shows and weekly magazines whispered that. So Angie also accepted it as though it was obviously true. Therefore, since she already believed she was a witch, when she heard the name of the Golden Witch was being turned over to her, she only felt like saying, "You just figured that out now?" Ooh. However, she was at least sure of one thing. This title of witch that she had inherited would definitely never be inherited by anyone else. She would be the last head of the Ushiromiya family, and the last lonely Golden Witch. Ooh. So is she a witch too? Is that how she got back to the incident? Angie could be seen on the roof of a skyscraper. Compared to the winds of the world that had beaten down upon her until now, this strong, cold wind was warm and pleasant. Below her lay a beautiful nighttime scene and a dazzling river of red and white lights. It was supposed to be clear out that night, but there really should have been countless stars stretching out over the sky. However, the light from the ground was too bright, so you couldn't see them at all. Angie couldn't help but think that this which she truly sought must lie in the unseen starlight. The world of reality below her looked so far away from here. She could imagine that this place was the closest in the world to the world she should really be in. There was only one thing that Angie cursed. Why had she not been able to go to that family conference on that day 12 years ago? Even though, if she had gone, it would probably have been possible for her to stay with her family forever. Lately, she'd been dreaming about her family over and over again. The person I was 12 years ago calls out frantically, urging them not to go to the family conference. Both Dad and Mom are too far away, and my hand won't reach them. Battler always loved me a lot, and he'd always pat my head. But even though it looks like that hand's about to touch me, even if it does not reach, for some reason, I started having that dream over and over. Every time I had that same dream, I uselessly tried to stretch out my hand even more forcefully, over and over and over. Even if only Battler had lived, then perhaps we'd at least be able to support each other in my cold and lonely reality. But his hand never reaches me. Even if I climb to the roof of this tall building, I'm so far away from all of them. A mysterious girl appears in my dream and urges me. She urges me to find the truth of what happened 12 years ago. If only I could learn everything that happened to Father and the rest of them on that day. Would they come back? At least one of them? There was no way that anyone would answer that question for her. I get it. In this world, I have no family or friends. So, let's go. Let's go home. To where my family is. From the start, Angie's figure had been on the outer side of the fence. The scenery below her eyes was distant, beautiful, and so fantastical that it already did give rise to fear. If I look down, I'll surely be swallowed up by the world below. So I looked up, because I wanted to be taken to the world above, to the world where my family was. Who cares about vast wealth? Who cares about cursed gold? Who cares about the golden witch, Beatrice? What I really want, even a mountain of gold couldn't get me. What I need for that is to take a single step forward. Just that little bit of courage. Angie, don't do it. At that moment, I definitely heard a voice. It was a voice I knew. A voice that had called to me in my dreams for so long. Ah. Before my eyes, in other words, in midair above that jet black nighttime scenery, there was the figure of the girl I'd seen in my dreams. She spoke again with the same voice I'd heard in those dreams. Your assistance is required. My assistance? Who needs it? Your family. Your family has been eternally imprisoned in the span from this day 12 years ago until the following day. Whoa, hold on. So she's in reality, and they're actually... like, they're in a bubble. If I save them, does that mean my family will come home? And then how did Ava get out of that bubble? When I asked the question I had most wanted to, the girl cruelly stopped talking and hung her head. I cannot promise that. The enemy is the Golden Witch Beatrice, a mighty opponent. I cannot oppose her. But another Golden Witch might be able to manage something. I don't know what you're talking about. The only one who can oppose the Beatrice of 1986 is the final Beatrice of 1998. In other words, you. Angie. Angie Beatrice. Oh my god. Any other Beatrices I need to know about? I say again when another one is revealed. That witch from 12 years ago took away my family. That's right. She is your foe. The root cause that always leads to your future of isolation. My family's foe? The strongest golden witch of history versus the strongest golden witch of today? The big black clear lamp of Umineko? In exchange, I will search for a fragment with the ideal world you wish for. A world where your family comes home. I make no promises that your desire will be granted. Beatrice's game board in 1986 is quite perfect. I planned on bringing you to that ideal fragment as a present today, but I still can't find it. This is a very firm fate. I haven't seen the likes of it since the time I fought Lambda Delta. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm giving you a chance for revenge. In exchange, I promise to search for and bring you the happiest resolution among the possibilities you're capable of accepting. What is this? This is Umineko when they cry. Revenge. It may be a fruitless effort. Even if you succeed in your revenge, there's no definite proof that your family will return. Even if you manage to hit a miraculous probability, you may only be able to bring one person back, if that. This is peak? This is peak. Angie understood the meaning of that dream. The dream where it seemed that, with just a little more stretching, her hand might be able to reach at least Battler. A miraculous probability means it's still higher than 0, right? Is it 1%? Trying to read any probabilities before the result is useless. What the hell is going on? Oh, long story. There's about 19 streams worth of backstory for this one, so you're welcome to go watch the other VODs. I don't think I could even muster explaining this. This is This is 12 years after. This is 12 years after the events of episode 3. You're a little cartoon man? Yes. Me? Yeah, I'm me. Trying to read any probabilities before the result is useless, so I cannot tell you that number. But I'll definitely be slightly more than likely than if I do nothing. Yes, as long as you do not throw that desire of yours away. Be prepared. It is extremely close to 0. Yeah, I'm a VTuber. Okay, I'll take you up on that offer. Are you sure? You probably won't be able to return here again. This isn't the world I'm supposed to be in. I'll find the world I'm supposed to be in myself. Tell me your name. The Witch of Miracles, Baron Castell. And by that name, I acknowledge you as the Golden Witch, Ange Beatrice. The final witch, born in 1998. She was named by Ava as her successor and was accepted with Baron Castell as her guardian. She has to start from square one as a witch, but because she exists 12 years in the future, she possesses the ultimate sort of magical resonance, for none of Beatrice's magic can target her. Resistance, not resonance. Furthermore, in a manner opposite to her brother's magical resistance, she has a natural talent for attacks against anything of magical nature. She holds tremendous potential for both offense and defense. However, the distance is vast. 12 years is a long time. Ooh. So now you are a true witch. The instant she proclaimed that I was a witch, I felt dizzy, as though something inside me had changed drastically. At that time I heard a clunk. It was the sound of the door that opened to the staircase to the roof. It was on Ava's guards. They're only guards in name. Aren't they the cage that wraps the tightest around me, shutting me in? They saw that I was already on the other side of the fence and dashed forward, horrified. 20. We found the target. Requesting backup on the roof. Anji, we're looking for you. It's dangerous there, so quickly, come this way. What's that? My fan club. I'm pretty popular. No point in getting caught. Let's go. Looking annoyed, Baron Castell turned on her heels. Hold on. Lyrics? This is a banger. Watching that perfectly casual gesture, I followed her as though it was completely normal. Angie, wait! Don't be hasty. Look out! Ah. I gotta give it to her to say that. Well then. See you again. Next time. Please send a limo to get me. Because everyone else will be there too. See ya. Peak. Godlike. Okay. Wow. Okay. Prepare to be arrested? No. Dude. I am sending you the CG for this part. Okay. We'll pull it up on stream. Oh my God. Y'all. Well, let's just wait for these credits. That song name is Active Pain. So Anji's joining the game for episode 4. And she is a witch. One of the few I can manage to remember with my memory that is horrible at remembering names. take a look at this CG. This is her leaping off the roof to go join the game. That's so sick. All right, we got a couple things to do here. First of all, wide Beatrice spotted. So, episode 4, Alliance of the Golden Witch. Good morning. How shocking that you haven't been forced to surrender even now. By this point, even I am forced to expect a lot from you. Not all the games take place on the board. How about taking a little peek at the outside this time around? They say that if you know your enemy, you need not fight 100 battles. The difficulty level depends on you. The manner in which you fought up until now will greatly influence the difficulty of this game. Anji shows up here. Aha! It extends this family tree. And she's also over here as the Anji Beatrice. Sounds like it will be very difficult to you. Very possibly. Has some good theories. Thank you. I try. Yeah, please. I know. I'm sure. I guess also, you know, you wait, hold on. Top 6. Whoa, there's a lot of X2 zeros in top 16. I think a lot of people dropped too early. Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at tournament results here. From a tournament I was in earlier. I just want to see how far everything went. Devin B top 16. Basically everyone that beat me top 16. Hold on. Sorry. I'm doing a couple things at once right now. I'll answer all questions in a second. There was 1701. And then top 32 cut at 5. There was 1530 in top 32. So I could have maybe gotten 32nd with 530. And then top 16 was cut off at 6-2. There was 1503. 512 did not make it. Guaranteed 512 did not make it, Suzu. How did Card Games Locals? It was an online regional. It did not go great, but I had fun. So you needed X2 to get top 16. And 1X3 got top 32. X2-1 guaranteed top 32. And X1-2 guaranteed top 32. X1-2 just barely missed top 16. It was 17th for X1-2. So you needed X and 2. And actually quite a few X and 2s made it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X and 2s made it. Because again, like, with all the drops and stuff. Damn, a bunch of these people did really good. I wish I had done better. Glad you enjoyed at least, yeah. Okay, so what's going on? Good question. I actually don't have a lot to say about what's going on post episode 3. Because obviously there's a game going on. I think there are actually 2 games going on. I think there's a game between Lambda Delta and Burn Castell going on. That's kind of being played on a chessboard above the game Beatrice and Battler is playing. That's going on above a chessboard of Rokkenjima. So I think that's layer 1, is that there's 2 games. There's the one of the witches, at which, and Beatrice is a tool of Lambda Delta. Baron Castell has recruited Angie probably to parallel Beatrice in this game. I expect we'll probably see episode 4 being played as a game as Beatrice versus Angie, less than Beatrice versus Battler. There's definitely something special about Battler and Angie here. To go up a step, I guess. There's definitely something special about them. I had a hunch that Battler particularly had this ability to essentially create reality. And by that, I mean whatever Battler believes is true. And that's why it's so important that Battler agrees that they're all witches. I think they've been saying everyone needs to agree that they're all witches, but I think it actually only matters if Battler agrees that they're all witches. On top of that, in episode 3, Ava survived. So here's an interesting one. Episode 3, Ava survived and was having that conversation with Angie 12 years later. I would posit that that's one reality that was possible based on the events that happened, and not the one true reality. I'm going to argue that there is never one true reality. We've already lived through this 3 times with a different outcome each time. And just because we saw one of those realities' ripple effects outside of the 2-day or 3-day span that they're on Rokkenjima, who is the true goat? That would be the goat. They are the true goat. Yeah. So I think there doesn't necessarily need to be one true truth. One true truth. In that reality, in episode 3, I think Ava killed everybody. In episode 2, probably the case that Rosa killed everybody. And in episode 1, probably Natsuhi killed everybody. Now, what happened with Beatrice in the past? Did I miss anything big since the last stream? Hey, Evan. Yeah, we did the entirety of the Tea Party episode 3 and the question mark episode 3. Long story short, Angie was the girl that showed up. Interesting that you're only making women the killers. Shake my head. Oh. Different culprit for each episode? I think so. And if we follow this pattern, that would make Kiri or Rudolph the killer in the next chapter, probably, right? But anything can happen. Anything can happen. We have to make a tier list for this episode, naturally. I already kind of have an idea of where I'm going to go with that. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot I can say. I think Beatrice Beto's past is... Yeah, so... Can I ask what you think Beatrice's deal is? It becomes a lot harder at the end of this episode. I think there are some true statements that may or may not all be connected. So I think it's possible that she was essentially imprisoned by Kinzo, which is kind of interesting now that we say this. Hold on. Wait, pause. Hold on, sorry, I gotta type something real quick. Okay. So, first point. I think Beatrice was a human that was imprisoned for some reason by Kinzo. Kinzo fell in love with her. Kinzo wanted to keep her trapped. Kinzo wanted to keep her safe. I think, and she looks like this. This is her. This is Beto is what I'm going to call her, because the name Beatrice gets inherited, but I'll call her Beto. I don't know if Virgilia was real, but I think Beto was imprisoned by Kinzo, effectively imprisoned. Kinzo might not have thought he was doing it, but he was basically keeping her locked up on Rokkenjima so that she could be his. And probably in a, like, really, honestly, probably in a sexual way. But it's possible that he actually viewed her as, like, a daughter, and it wasn't a sexual thing at all. There's a possibility that he viewed her as a daughter. And that could be because he was either disappointed in all of his children, or he maybe met her or knew her mother, maybe. Maybe her mother died and he knew and he took her on and wanted to keep her safe, right? So I'm not saying there's necessarily nefarious intentions behind why he had her locked up in that castle, but it's almost certainly something pretty nefarious because it's Kinzo and because this is Umineko. So that is a pretty sharp parallel to what Eva did to Anji 12 years later, or effectively, 1 year later, right when she got off of Rokkenjima at the end of episode 3. The way Eva treated Anji, it was a malicious intent. She wanted to keep Anji isolated. She wanted to keep Anji away from everything. And much like how Kinzo wanted to keep Beto isolated and away from everything. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's like Star Wars Episode 1. It's pretty cool. So I don't know what actually, and I do think this woman died. I do think this woman died in an accident when Rosa found her. And she was like her naivete, like she was so naive when Rosa found her. So like, and then she died. Now that could have been total bullshit. It's also possible that that story is total bullshit. And because a lot of episode 3 might have been total bullshit. But I guess we'll never know. Well, not never, but I guess we won't know until we read more. So I'm going to do the tier list, and then that'll be it for Umineko on this stream. I'm not going to start episode 4. My voice needs a rest. I'll probably start episode 4 on, like, Thursday. I'm going to do probably locals, card game locals on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I'll probably stream some variety. I might start tomorrow. I'll tweet about it for sure. But yeah, so let me do my tier list, and then we'll go do something else from there. Game is absolutely peak, though. Like, I know Aura Dude sent me this incredible resource sheet. There we go. Tier list up to episode 3. Okay, very cool. This it? I feel like there's got to be more characters than this. Get a little bit of music. I really wish I had done better at that online regional. I'm still like kind of kicking myself over it. Okay. Here we go. So, tiers. All right, we got the two-time Beatrice. Absolutely the best character in this episode. Did you lose a bad matchup or something? No, I'm just playing a new deck and learning kind of the ins and outs. It's also a webcam tournament, and I'm really not good at playing on webcam. Right? Okay, so two-time Beatrice, two-time champ. She became Beatrice. She became Beatrice again. The two-time champ. She also two-timed our protagonist and betrayed his trust. So she is indeed two-time. There's an unfortunate Dr. Disrespect meme behind two-time, but I don't mean it that way. Please understand. Okay. It's actually going to be kind of hard. So I think we also have to go down into... I mean, the next tier... I mean, you cannot, like... I don't know quite what to call it, but I mean, it's the OTP. It's the one true pair here. It's Rudolph and Kiri. They were absolutely just stunning in this episode. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen them do. I was smiling from ear to ear in all of the scenes. In the scenes where they battled, sucker my barrels, dude. In the scenes when they battled the that's the name of the tier. I mean, she shoots her right in the mouth, right? Sucker my barrels. Insanely good. All right, right? So now we've got, I think, frankly, nobody else compares even close to these characters in these chapters. So we're going to have some tiers named Buffer and just establish some space between how good these characters were in this chapter and how good the rest of the characters were in this chapter. Where's Ava Beatrice? Oh, there she is. Okay, cool. So we put some Buffer up there, right? I think we should of course have this Ava and or Beatrice, right? Right? More tiers. There are going to be more tiers. Don't worry. We have Ava in this tier, I think, and I think Anji can go in this tier. Her appearance was very much, it was very much like a shocker, and I thought they were really, really good here. Also, I'm going to put Virgilia in this tier. Virgilia did really, really, like the witch chess battle. Oh, perhaps we could do a little better than that. I might rearrange some of this stuff. Yeah, because I think actually probably these two really stepped it up in this episode. I might even put Ava Beatrice in the Ava and or Beatrice tier, because I mean, this tier's getting a little wide, if you ask me. She was really good in there. Maybe like here. Okay, hold on. So we of course have the Magnus Carlsen tier, where we're going to put some of the greatest characters in this episode. I kind of want to put these two higher than these two. So maybe it's like this. I think it's like this. The Magnus Carlsen tier, the GOATs at chess, right? Renov played some seriously sick chess moves. I loved Renov in this episode too. I mean, I could also probably call this like the cooking tier or something like that. But I think it's these two. And then, of course, we have... Hold on. Okay, we've got then Hikaru Nakamura below that, right? Like, if you want to talk about who the second best chess players in the game are, I think we're going to have to put Battler and Ava Beatrice there, right? Because, like, they played a really good game. They were also really good characters in the... I don't know why these are in all caps and this one isn't, but whatever. They played a good chess game, but not nearly as good as a chess game as I think both of these. She literally was, like, riding a knight and a rook across a lane of, like, stone soldiers. And then Renov's just the GOAT at chess. Like, he was watching from afar and he's judging everybody's chess performance, right? So I think these two can definitely go in the Hikaru tier. Or these two can go in the Hikaru tier. These two are in the Magnus tier. Let's see. We've probably got some chaff tier here. Okay, we're gonna go with a new tier, of course. I think I might call this one Smoge. I much enjoyed Hideyoshi this episode. And of course, he had the cigarette butt evidence working against him. I think if I had to put somebody else in the Smoge tier, it would probably be Cannon. I really liked Cannon this episode. Did I like Cannon more or less than any of these? Definitely not. He kind of evaporated into Smoge at the end of the episode, right? And he died really early. I'm trying to think if there were any other really standout characters in this episode, and I'm not seeing too many of them. So we're now going to go on into the IKEA tier, and What's a better furniture chain than IKEA? I'll say Amazon Furniture, American Furniture Warehouse. Oh, please don't use my location. Thank you. Are these nice? IKEA? IKEA is the best? Herman. You already know. Herman Miller. Fine. Fine furniture. You already know. Boom. Boom. Some of the greatest furniture to ever do it. Honestly, this dude, the way he laid it down and, you know, Mercy killed Shannon and Cannon, love to see that. I'm just trying to, so sometimes it's kind of hard because these are like the PS3 sprites, right? I think that's probably about right. And then we've got the IKEA tier, right? The lesser than furniture. And that would have been Belphegor got owned. Lucifer got owned. I think I gotta be really careful Googling Umineko, but that's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, got him right. Let's go. Okay. So they got owned. Goda got kind of hella owned. Kumasawa can go in Herman Miller tier. Herman Mackerel tier. Let's see. And then like IKEA, and then like what's one step below IKEA? Probably like Amazon Basics, right? Right, we could probably go with that. And like all the other steaks didn't really do much. Shannon probably goes in IKEA. Right, okay, so we're getting there. And then look, like Bern Castell was kind of neat in this episode. So I'd probably put her right above Herman Mackerel. Oh, we, of course, have the Burn Baby Burn tier, which is where she will go as well as Kinzo will go, right? Because I think that's about where Kinzo goes for this episode, too. I think he had a little bit of a moment where he got to play chess with Beatrice for a little bit, and then, you know, kind of got owned. Probably below this tier, maybe below even Herman Mackerel tier. Honestly, Herman Mackerel tier is probably above Burn Baby Burn. Is it above Herman Miller? Definitely. She kind of had that moment. So do we give that moment to Virgilia, or do we give that moment to Kumasawa when she threw up the barrier? I mean, it's kind of both, right? But I think I give that moment to Virgilia. And then, okay, so we have Maria and Rosa. They died in the garden. Nanjo did not do anything of value, really. Nor did Natsuhi. Nor did Kraus. Nor did George. I'm trying to think if George did anything. He flew away with Beto. So he's probably like above IKEA tier. But below Burn Baby Burn tier. So like him. Jessica didn't really do. Jessica kind of was with the. Jessica and these two were like. They were just like tragic love interests. Shakespeare? Shakespeare tier? They were just tragic love interests that just like basically only got to come back briefly when. Wait, how do you spell Shakespeare? Okay. When Shannon and Cannon had their, like, moments, these two, they kind of helped Beto find her magic again. Peter Pan tier? Romeo and Juliet? Based. So good. Okay, so we only have a few left. We got Rosa and Maria. Rosa and Maria, like, Rosa actually did quite a bit here. In that she, like, caught Ava, and I would probably put her, like, I loved these two. He was really good. She was quite good, and of course the comedic impact of Herman Mackerel hitting right below Herman Miller. Probably before Burn Baby Burn tier. I think that's where we would find the tier. I think that's where we would find the tier with Rosa. And, like... She found the gold, too. She also killed young Beatrice. She kind of did a lot this episode, actually. Maria didn't really do much. Maria was just kind of a victim. I think these might all just be, like, victim tier. I mean, honestly, Nanjo was, like, the worst this episode. These two were very neutral. And Maria, honestly, like, didn't do anything this episode. Does Nanjo get credit for doing nothing in the most interesting way? No, I think Maria did nothing in the most interesting way. But I mean, they're like down here, dude. Like, honestly, I'd probably even do this. I'd probably separate IKEA a little bit. And maybe even one more for IKEA, perhaps. And then down here is, like, just, like, they freaking did nothing. Seinfeld. Show about nothing, dude. They did, like, nothing. And then I don't want to put Rosa with, or Maria with Rosa. I'll probably try to put these two together. She's just gonna go in park tier. She died in the park. I was trying to think of a funny way to, like, I was gonna call it, like, Shakespeare and then Steakspear or something like that. But I don't think the joke hits because she has to be way more tiers above them because they didn't do anything. This could be Shakespeare and Steakspear, but, like, I don't know. It's a bit tough. And then, like, I am such a Lambda Delta hater, if I'm going to be honest. So, like, I want to put these two in, like, obnoxious tier, but at least, like, pseudo-relevant. Probably above Seinfeld tier. Whoops. Ah. It's probably above Seinfeld tier. And I don't know quite what to call it. My inspiration has been shot. I'm going to do this also. I think these two deserve not two buffers of separation between all of this. I think we're pretty... I think the order is absolutely right here. It's Beatrice number 1, then these two... Bazinga. They'll just be the Big Bang Theory, which is, like, a travesty that it's a tier above Seinfeld, but whatever. Okay, so we got Two Time, we got Sucker My Barrels, excellent tier name, I think. A buffer, just to establish how goated everyone up here is. Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura after another buffer. Ava was better than Ava, be it. No. It's this. then Anji, and then the Smoge, and then the good furniture. What's the difference? Hey! Herman Miller, Herman Mackerel, Park, IKEA. Yeah, I think this is probably right. This makes it look like I'm implying that they are romantically interested in each other, but not the case. All right, sweet. I think we got it. And of course, post this with no context. These are getting more and more spoilerific as well. Download image. Title of tier list. Umineko episode 3. Download image. My image. That reminds me, did you do the Bazingle today? Oh, shoot, I didn't. Maybe I should do some dulls. First, I gotta tweet this out. This tier list is massive. How do I spoiler it? Sensitive. Or CG just pictures? Yeah. I think it stands for computer graphics. I don't know if it's spoilered or not. If it's not and someone sees it, I apologize. Double checking. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's spoilered or not. Not spoilered? What? I called it sensitive. Uh Edit? I have to upgrade to X. Not spoilered GG's. Damn. Well, it's out there, so if I get unfollowed, I get unfollowed. I do apologize if somebody gets spoiled by that. I'm gonna apologize. Comment. Okay. Let us. I'm gonna stop the YouTube stream and I'm gonna keep going on Twitch. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to keep watching, come over to Twitch. I just want the VOD to be cut reasonably well for YouTube. And then I'm going to play some Ember Ward, which is Slay the Spire meets Bloons Tower Defense. So stick around on Twitch if you want to see some of that. I'm going to take a short ad break, switch the logistics, and then more Umineko probably tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, then Thursday. So